Okay, so Drop sent me a package. Well, two packages, but you get the point. By the time you're watching this video, you can probably already tell what was in these boxes from the title of the video. But I'm not going to jump straight into the unboxing. I'd like to actually introduce the product to you first. So, introducing the Drop Enter. This is an enthusiast-grade keyboard that's targeted at beginners. From the full anodized aluminum case to the TKL form factor, this keyboard might just be the sweet spot between I am just starting out and I want to be a keyboard enthusiast. So, jumping straight into the unboxing experience, it basically comes in this really high quality brown box like many other Drop keyboards before this. And when you open up the box, you're basically going to get this pamphlet that basically gives you like a warranty information. It gives you a getting started guide, and it also gives you like a list of function layers basically and things that you can do like media controls and so on with this keyboard. Moving on from that, when you actually pull the tab, you get the keyboard itself, the Drop Enter in all of its glory. My unit is the green version with the gray and charcoal keycaps, and it actually looks fantastic. I personally chose this because I felt like it just looked different than anything else that I've had in the past. Now, when you lift up the outer box, you're actually going to see a USB-C cable. This is a basic plastic USB-C cable, so it's not very high quality. So if you already had like a braided cable that you were using, you might want to stick to that. Besides that, you also get a wired keycap pillar, and that's about everything you get in the box with this keyboard. Now, coming in at $90, I am not mad about the accessories that they included in the box with this. Speaking about the physical bits of the keyboard itself, like I said before, it's anodized aluminum and it actually feels great. Although I was a little surprised that this keyboard had about the same amount of flex as my higher quality plastic keyboards. For an aluminum board, it does flex a lot, but moving on from that, when you actually turn the back of this keyboard, you're going to see the faux rubber fit. Now, this is supposed to help you keep the keyboard on your desk, but I think the type of rubber that was used is a little different because even when it's laid down flat or you actually use the optional flip-up fit, the keyboard does slide around a little bit. I mean, it's not bad, but it does move around. It's not the kind of moving that's going to be a problem if you were a gamer and you were constantly bumping your keyboard, but if you physically try to move it across your table, it will move. And aside the rubber fit and the flip-up fit, the only other two features are the huge Drop logo that you're going to get on the back and the USB-C port that's basically flush with the board on the left side, which I think is excellent because this lets you use any cable that you want with this keyboard pretty much. Moving on to the board itself, my personal board came with Halo Trues. Now, I chose this over the Gator Yellows because I just wasn't in the mood for linear boards anymore, but as you can probably already tell, when buying this board, your two options for switches are going to be Gator Yellows or Halo True switches. For me, the Halo Trues are a little more heavy and they require a little bit more of actuation force, but they feel great to type on and I really enjoy typing on this. And speaking of, the keycaps on this are actually really nice. These are dye sublimated double shot PBT keycaps and they feel nice, so you don't have to worry about getting shine through or some sort of clipping or cutting with your keycaps over time because these are going to last you a very long time. Now, while my board actually came with the charcoal and grey keycaps, the smaller box that Drop actually sent me contained the black versions of these keycaps and they actually looked really nice as well. Although, I've not actually bothered to use them because I really like this charcoal and grey combination. I think it looks good with the green, so I might be sticking with it. As for the stabilizers on my board, they are Drop stabilizers. I mean, they work. They're not super silent, there is that tiny little bit of rattle and I don't feel like they came pre-lubed even though they're supposed to. There's still just a little bit of rattle when I hit my spacebar and I guess that's fine honestly. And speaking of the typing sounds and the actual typing experience with this board, I'm going to attach a very short typing test just so that you can get a sense of what this keyboard sounds like and feels like when you're actually typing on this Halo True switches. So, a few things that I actually noticed with this board that are worth talking about. Well, it's a really nice board first of all. It feels like an enthusiast keyboard when you take it out of the box, but when you do start to use it, you do begin to realize that this is targeted more towards beginners. Why do I say that? First off, I like to have odd swap even if it's a beginner keyboard, so that if you change your mind along the line and you want to try a different type of switches or you want to work on your stabilizers or something, you can actually do that. But unfortunately, this board does not actually give you that flexibility except you actually decide to desolder all your switches to be able to lube them or change them completely, I guess. Another thing that I thought was really hard is the fact that when you turn the caps lock on, the caps lock just gets a little brighter, and when you turn it off, it dims down a little bit again. It's very easy to miss it when your caps lock is on, so that might be a con for some people, but for me, I don't really care. I also like the fact that this keyboard is backlit, but it's not RGB. Now, the backlighting is not completely white. It does feel like the white balance is shifted a little bit, but honestly, for the color green board that I actually got, I kind of like it. It kind of accentuates this. So ultimately, this is a keyboard that will be fantastic for a beginner who just wants to buy a really good looking keyboard that looks like an enthusiast keyboard and functions really well, but you're not going to be able to customize or change much about the keyboard going down the line except you're really ready to invest the time and stress yourself out a little bit. That was pretty much my coverage of the Drop ENTR keyboard. This is a fantastic keyboard if you're a beginner and you're looking for something to start out with. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I will see you on another video that was shot by Kagan. Peace!
TKL!